Hello viewers, we are going to see one topic for the subject object oriented programming, and the topic is thread groups in Java from Unit 3. The objectives are to describe thread groups in Java, to apply thread groups in Java programming. Let us see what is meant by thread group. So Java provides a convenient way to group multiple threads in a single object, so that we can perform some common operations on the group of thread with the help of the single object and by calling with the help of a single method. Okay, so thread group is the mechanism by which we can group many threads under a parent thread. Okay, so we can group threads under a single unit. Okay, so this is particularly valuable in situation in which you want to suspend and resume a number of related threads. Actually, the thread group forms a tree in which every thread group except the initial thread group has a parent. Okay, a thread is allowed to access information about its own thread group, but not to access information about its thread group's parent thread group or any other thread groups. So, to create the thread group, we are having one built-in class thread group. So, the class having some of the constructors. The first constructor is used to create the thread group with the given name. So, we can give the name of the thread group as the parameter. Okay. So, the first constructor is used to create the thread group with the given name, and the second constructor having the two parameters. With the help of the second constructor, we can create the thread group with the given parent group and name. Okay, we can mention the name of the thread group as well as we can mention the name of the parent group. Now we are going to see how can we create the thread group. So we have defined one class. Class name is thread group example that implements the runnable interface. Then we are having the run method. So in the thread programs, always we will have the run method. So whenever we start the thread, the run method will be executed. That is the concept behind the thread program, thread creations, isn't it? So in the run method, inside the run method, we will have the code associated with the thread. Okay, so whatever we want to execute related to the thread, all those codings will be kept under the run method. So in our example program, in the run method, we are having only one system.out.println. This statement is printing the name of the current thread. So to print the name of the current thread, we are having the methods thread.current_thread.getName. Okay, so thread.currentThread will invoke the current thread. So from that, the name of the current thread will be printed here. Okay, then in the main function, we are creating the necessary object. First of all, we are creating the object for our class. Our class was thread group example. We are creating the object runnable. The name of the object is runnable for our class. In the second statement, we are going to create the thread group object. Okay, so thread group object can be created from the built-in class thread group. So we are creating the object with the name tg1 equal to new thread group parent thread group. Okay, so we are declaring one thread group as the parent thread group, and the object name was tg1. Next, we are creating the individual threads. So now we are going to create the individual threads. First of all, we are creating one thread. So we all know we will create the thread object under the class thread. Thread is the built-in class from which we can create the threads. So first of all, we are creating one thread with the object name t1. And while creating the thread object, we have to give some values. First one is tg1. So tg1 is the parent thread object. So now we are declaring we are grouping t1 under tg1. Okay, we are grouping, we are providing t1 into the group of the thread group tg1. And comma runnable is the object name of the class. Then 1 is the name of the thread. So we are giving the name 1 to our thread t1. Okay, so when we create the thread, we have given 3 parameters. First one is the name of the thread group, object name of the thread group, that is tg1. Second one is object of the class under which this particular thread is created. Third one is name of the thread. Now we are starting our thread t1 dot start. So we all know when the thread is started, the corresponding run method will be executed. So inside our run method, we have applied the method to get the name of the current thread. So as a result of the run method, we will get the current thread, name of the current thread. So currently the current thread is t1. The name of the current thread is 1. So 1 will be printed. ONE1 will be printed. Next we are creating our second thread t2. And here also we are we are grouping the t2 under the thread group tg1 by mentioning the thread group object tg. So the second thread was created with the name two. Now we are starting the thread t2 dot start. So again the run method will be called and the run method will be executed. Now the current thread is t2. Current thread dot get name will retrieve the name of t2, that is two. Now as a result of this second thread execution, 2 will be printed in the output screen. Now we are creating the thread t3 with the parameters. First one is the name of the thread group object, that is tg1. Then the class object runnable. Then name of the thread three. We are giving the name of the thread as three. Then we are starting the third thread as t3 dot start. Now also the run method will be executed, and in the run method we will print the name of the current thread. So here the name of the current thread is 3. So 3 will be printed. Now finally we are printing one thing, system.out.println thread group name. We are going to print the thread name of our thread group. So we have to apply the method with the thread group object. So our thread group object is tg1. So we are applying the method tg1.getName. So actually previously when we declared the thread group, we have given the name of our thread group, that is parent thread group. Our thread group name was parent thread group, that we have declared during the thread group object creation. Okay, our thread group object was tg1 and the name of the thread group was parent thread group. So when we print in this manner, that is tg1.getName will provide the name of the thread group tg1. The name was parent thread group. Okay, finally we are applying another one method, that is list method, tg1.list. So the list method will be used to print all the details about the thread group. Actually tg1 is our thread group object. So the thread group, all the informations about the particular thread group will be printed by this list method. So we will get the output for the above program in this manner: 1, 2, 3. These 3 are the name of the threads. Okay, when we start the individual threads, as a result of the run method, we are getting the name of the thread 1, 2, 3. Then after that, when we print the name of the thread group, we are getting the name parent thread group. After that, as a result of the list method, we are getting all those details like thread group name, what are all the threads present present under the particular group. So all those details will be printed with the help of the list method. Okay. And thread group class having some methods to perform many operations and to retrieve many details from the thread group. For example, active count method, which will return number of threads running in the current group. Then active group count method, which will return the number of active group in this thread group. Then void destroy method, which will destroy the thread group and all of its subgroups. Then get name method returns the name of the group. Then get parent method will returns the parent of the group. Then interrupt method will interrupt all the threads of the group. Then list method will print the information about the group to the standard output screen. Now we are going to see the program that explain the thread group example. This particular program is going to show the use of active count method. So we are having the class and we are defining the constructor for the class. Our class name is new thread, and we are defining the constructor new thread with the two parameters. First one is thread name, second one is thread group name, thread group object. And the super method, we have declared the super method. So when we declare the super method under the constructor, while during the object creation for the class, we have to provide the necessary values for the particular parameters. Then we have start, called the start method. Then in the run method, we are having the for loop. Inside the for loop, we are having the try block. In the try block, we are applying the sleep of some time instance. So we are applying the sleep method to the thread. So our current thread will go to sleep mode for some given amount of time. Next, in the catch block, we are printing the statement exception encountered. Then in the main class, main function, we are creating the thread group with the object name GFG, and the name of the thread group was parent thread group. Okay, we are giving the name thread, we are providing the name to the thread group as parent thread group. Then we are creating our individual threads. First thread is T1. During the thread creation, we are providing two parameters, two values to the two parameters. First one is the name of the thread 1. That is, the name of the thread T1 is 1, and the second parameter is the name of the object name of the thread group. So the T1, we are grouping T1 under the group GFG. GFG is the object name of the thread group. So we are providing this, we are grouping our individual thread T1 into the group GFG, thread group, parent thread group GFG. And next we are, so as a result of the object creation, the thread will be started because inside the constructor we have called the start method. Okay. Next we are creating the second thread T2, and the name of the thread is TWO, and here also we are grouping the T2 under the thread group GFG. Then we are printing on statement like starting 2. So now automatically the second thread will be started, since in the constructor itself we have called the start method. Then finally we are having on print system.out.println statement. In this statement we are going to print the number of active thread. So the number of active thread can be provided with the help of the method active count. So we have to mention the object. GFG is the thread group object. So GFG.activeCount will provide the total number of threads, active threads available under the group with the object name GFG. So actually we have 2 threads under the thread group, isn't it? So it will provide the answer 2. The number of active threads are 2. Okay. So the first statement, starting one, is the statement provided after the first thread creation, and starting 2 is the statement provided after the second thread creation, and finally as the result of the active count method we got the value 2. The number of current threads present under the thread group is 2. Okay, so in this way we can use the thread groups to grouping number of threads under a single object. Okay, and we can have the question, explain the use of thread groups in Java with example program. Thank you all.